The left function in Excel is one of the older of the family of text functions you would use to split apart and put text back together again. Specifically, the left function is pretty easy to understand because the way that it does its job is right in its name. If you have some text, like somebody's name, for example, and you say, hey, I would love to use the left function on it, the concept is that you would start on the left side of that text. So Raymond Walker and Lee Dean and Mehdi Jacques and everybody else, we start on the left side. You'll see here that the left function takes in two arguments. It takes in the text that we want to pull something out of, and it also takes the number of characters we'd like to get back. But the number of characters is optional. So if you leave that part out, if you just say, use the left function on the person's full name, what you will get is just the first character starting from the left side of that text. So W and D and J and B. And notice here, everybody, that Dela Cruz, if it starts with a lowercase d, is also lowercase when we pull that out. So you'll start to think about this. So you go, okay, well, I guess I could get the first letter. That's fine. But what if I want to get more than just the first letter? Well, you could, I suppose, type in a digit like 3 or something like that. But of course, this wouldn't work very well for most scenarios because in most scenarios, we have people with names that have different numbers of letters in them. So 3 letters from Walker is just W-A-L, and 3 letters from D is D-E-A. So you can't really type in a number. So the most common thing that you will find with the left function is that you will go and nest the find function inside of it. The find function's job is to figure out where something is. So in this instance, you ask yourself, what is the thing that shows me where the difference is between somebody's last name and their first name? It's pretty easy. It's the comma, right? Walker, comma, Dean, comma, Jacques, comma, Bradshaw, comma. But you'll notice that if you just put the find function in there and say, find me where the comma is, it unfortunately also returns the comma for you. Because you didn't say, find me the last character before the comma, you said, find me the comma. So the last thing that you need to do in this function, most of the time, is tack on just a little -1. So you say, okay, start from the left side of this text, Walker, Dean, Jacques, etc. And I want you to go in until you find the comma, and then back up 1 spot because we don't want to include the comma. And that is how you get, for example, in this instance, people's last names to come off of their full names. Now, if we see this in real life, it looks a little something like this. In cell D6, if I literally just want somebody's first initial, I can go to the Formulas tab at the top of the screen, use the text drop-down menu, and find left in alphabetical order. I choose the left function, and I click on Jeremy's name, and left to itself, it just returns the letter J. I click OK. That returns J. I can put my mouse in the bottom right-hand corner and double-click so as to get everybody's first initials. Great. And as you can see, I've thrown in a little additional function over here to the right, which takes that first initial and the last name and makes an email address out of it. Sure, that's fine. But as I said before, the most common thing to do here is, in a situation like this one, to figure out where the comma is and stop short of the comma. So in cell I6, we go to the Formulas tab at the top of the screen. We go to the text drop-down menu, and we again find the left function. And we say that, yes, the text is in cell H6. Now, we don't just want the first initial here. So in the number of characters, we think about how we can tell it how many characters are in each of these persons' last names. How do we do that? I'm going to type in the word find and type in the open parens. When you nest a function inside of another function, by typing in the name of that function and opening parentheses, you can then click up in the formula bar on the function that you're nesting. So here, instead of working on the left function, I'm going to click on the word find. And you see here, this allows me to work within the find function. So what is it that I would like to find? Quotation marks, comma, close quotation marks. I would like to find where the comma is. Within what text? Oh, within the text that's in cell H6, and there it is, position 8. Now this is good enough, and I go back to the formula bar up at the top of the screen, and I click on the word left, and you'll notice here that this is still going to go all the way to the comma. So right here for the number of characters, I add in at the very end -1. And that gives Danjuma. And when I click OK, and I put my mouse on the bottom right-hand corner and double click, there it is, everybody's full last names without the commas.